Have I told you my theory about life coaching? Hey, this is Battlefield to the Boardroom. You've got Colonel Garth and you got Philip Folsom with Men's K4, and we are here today to dig into life coaches. So,
good. Let's hear it, because you go first.
Okay, like 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, right? 2 million people identified as life coaches on LinkedIn. Currently, it's over 8 million people identifying as life coaches. We spent the last 20 years telling everybody to be passionate about what you do at work. Everyone's supposed to be passionate. So we got all these people chasing around looking for what they're passionate at. Nobody's paying any attention to what they're good at or what they're interested in. They're just trying to be passionate at work. And then we mix in our social media culture of the wave tops, of all the awesome things going on in everybody's life and all the cool stuff we do, right? And what has happened, I think, is that we've gotten to a place where we look around at our lives and we're like, well, I'm supposed to be passionate. And what am I passionate about? Well, me. Like, I like me. Like, I got pictures of me. I got pictures of my dates. I got pictures of my travels. I must be a pretty interesting guy. And I have all this spare time because, nothing else going on. I'm working from home. And so, you know what I could do that I'd be really good at, that I'd be passionate about? I'll tell everybody else how to live like me. And so now we have this just blossoming industry of people who are trying to tell everybody else how to live like them because they are the only thing they think they understand, and they haven't even really done the hard work. And to your point, I've done anything. Go have a kid. Go start a business. Go do an interesting trip, something like, and the breakaways, the real personalities on these social media posts and stuff, these are people who have full-on breakthroughs and traveled the world on the back of a llama or something. And like, okay, that's a story I'd like to hear.
Yeah.
But we have so many people chasing, this wave top image of what they think life is about, and very few people really living it. And the ones who are living it, they're tired of posting about it because they're competing against, fakes. That's my theory.
Whew. Yes. All right. You're coming in hot this morning. All right. So I have a similar one, and okay. I want to just preface this saying that all the judgment that you and I and the rest of the world has is somehow also connected to a little internal judgment at the same point. So I've spent a lot of my life, as a consultant, life coachy person. And there has definitely been times where I have stepped into the imposter role of, like, I haven't run a big company, so why am I coaching other big companies? Yeah. So I just want to preface that first, that there's and this is true for everyone who's got judgments about how the way people are living. There probably is an internal out of alignment piece of looking at themselves and going, oh, there's something that I'm not doing. Your story on the shuttle, for example, like they know, and we weren't recording when this was shared, but there's people who are out of alignment with their lifestyle choices that are going to be projecting that on the rest of the world, right? And so we're all doing that in some capacity. I do believe that when we're talking about doing something that defines us and creates not an opinion, but like a point of view, like a serious authoritative position, which means that you are significant enough to be able to share that journey with other people. You need to have done something significant. Like, traveled the world in a llama. I've won a Super Bowl. I've climbed Mount Everest. I've published a book. I've ran companies. Like, what have you done? And the people who aren't willing to do that adversity jump over it. And then there's a term in the I guess spiritual development world of spiritual bypass, which means I don't want to go do that deep work. I want to jump right over into providing purpose for others, because that's the most direct line to passion, which you just shared. I want to receive the absolute, like, heroin level feelings of meaning and acknowledgement and validation of providing a solution to other people.
Yeah.
Of course, people want to jump over that.
You get the likes and shares because you've helped somebody. Look at me, I helped somebody. we all want to be there at the championship game, but there's only like 1 or 2 parents who show up week in, week out for the grind of the practice.
Yeah, and they bring the oranges, those parents.
Yeah. They show up at the end. I mean, all of that stuff is important, but you're right. It's a hit. We want the dopamine, the endorphins. We want the hit of having helped somebody without the deep work of helping somebody.
Or the internal work.
And I'll give you props. So, I've worked in this industry for a while. You've worked in this industry for a while. And it's hard to coach and help people. And you're better at it than I am on the individual, on the one-on-one. And here's why. When I met you like 10 years ago or whatever, when we started talking, you would work with people as we're doing a high ropes course or something, and you would pose a question and then they would supply the answer. And my instinct, and most of like a lot of the new folks running into life coaching, take that answer and then try and help. Oh, well, here's what you need to do. You like that? Let me tell you how I would have solved it. And you don't do that. Like, you have the magical gift. And hey, if you're a life coach out there, listen, this is important. We're digging deep here on this one. Shut it. Stop talking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing you do really well, Philip, is you'll ask a question, they'll give an answer, and then you respond with, okay, how's that working for you? Or what do you think you'll do with that? Or where does that go? Because you're not trying to live their life. You didn't, in any of the groups we've ever worked with, I've never seen you or a real pro in the coaching space come down and say, all right, well, now you got to go do 5 push-ups every day. There's no answer. There's just getting them to, they've got to see their own thing, and then they've got to work towards it. And that's a huge difference in the industry too. When you're working with passion, you have to tell them how to change it. You have to give them advice, because if you don't, when things work out, how are you going to take credit for it? Where's your ROI? And so, unsolicited advice is for the sender. And even when they're asking you for coaching and help, it's still unsolicited advice. You're still telling them how to live. So how do we get, somehow this became the show, but look, we all are surrounded by people who need our influence and need our help. We're all influenced by it. We're the average of the 5 closest things where we spend the most amount of our time. So how do we contribute to all that, but stop all the nonsense of, I'm going to be a life coach and really guide people to feel their passion, because, I want to feel like I have my passion by getting the dopamine hit of watching, somebody else succeed at their job. Like, how can we help without being so obnoxious?
Hey, couple things. I think the analogy of the doctor and the midwife is something that we use a lot in at least the experiential education world. Is the doctor claims to deliver the baby. Like, I delivered a baby today. It's like, no, you didn't, bro. That mom delivered the baby, and how dare you? You just stood there and said, push. The midwife is somebody who actually is there in support of the mother delivering the baby. And at some point, everybody has to deliver their own baby, right? You all have to do your own work.
Right.
And so that's the difference between the term facilitator, and coach. And facilitator or facile is somebody who eases the way of somebody else. It's like, yeah, you definitely help carry a bag and walk with them and give a perspective and hold them accountable. Like, that is a facilitator role. A coach is a prescriptive authority that is saying you must do those 5 push-ups every day. And
not to that analogy, like, watch the incentives. Watch for the incentives. Because on our first baby, when we were having our first baby, she was breech, and we had a midwife, and we were in a hospital, and there was a doctor assigned, and the midwife was working to invert. She like tickled her. The baby flipped. Amazing, really. But the doctor kept coming in. He's like, hey, this is taking a while. Like, we need to do a C-section. This is taking a long time. We need to do a C-section. And the incentives were different. The C-section, and just my judgment as the dad standing there,
follow the money,
is more exciting. It's not even the money. It's more exciting. He's a doctor, and he gets to cut open and then do a thing and then get credit for what he did. And nothing against him, but that's what he wanted to do. And he kept coming in and saying, I got the kit ready. I'm ready to go. I'm going to give you 30 more minutes. And the midwife is like, cool your jets. It's working. Just let it happen. I mean, we call it tactical patience in the military, but like, once you put a plan in place, let it happen. Stop jumping in to accelerate it, or stop jumping in to make it work because you're impatient. But the incentives, if you don't look at the incentives, like, why are they helping you? I mean, the doctor wanted to help because then he got to do cool doctor stuff. He got to go home and say, yeah, I had to do an emergency C-section. It was amazing. And all his friends were like, oh, it's fantastic. Must be fun being a doctor. You know, but that didn't do anything for us. It was his incentive.
And I'll say this little thing twice for me, because it was really important. Our lives are evidence of our efficacy. Our lives are evidence of our efficacy. And which means, look at the way you are managing, look at the way you are leading your life. You know, do you have a spiritual practice? Like you said, are you grateful? Are you vital? Are you taking care of yourself? All of those components, like that is really your current operating system. And so there is a crossover between the way you manage and your leadership, because really what you're modeling, how you're conducting yourself, is a much stronger message than what you're telling people that they should do, or, you know, in anything else. It's how are you living your life? That's the big one.
All right, wait, battlefield of the boardroom. I guess we're talking about life coaches today, but most importantly, get a mirror, do the work, dig deeply, and catch you next week.